Now, for our next guest. He is an American actor who is a big part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's best known for playing Red Skull in Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, as well as Aaron in The Walking Dead. His voiceover work includes Phineas and Ferb, Invincible, and What If. He's also an extremely talented impersonator. Legend has it he can impersonate around 50 celebrities. So please welcome Ross Marquand. Hello.
How you doing? How is everybody out there? I don't know how to say how is everyone in Romanian. How do I say
Ce faceți?
Ce faceți?
Yeah, that was really good.
Okay, cool, nice. Did I say it right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should I sit? I feel like I'm about to be like
as far away from me
like
as
you're my
possible.
therapist or something. I'm like, so when did it all start? Yeah. So
When did the voices?
Yeah. How is everyone? You good? Nice. It's a little hot
They're
in
really
here,
hot,
isn't it?
yeah. Yes. How are you?
I'm good.
How's Romania treating you so far?
Very good. I've always wanted to come here. I played Dracula in college many years ago.
Wow.
And I did a lot of research on Vlad the Impaler. And I've always wanted to come to Romania, so I'm very excited to be here. But obviously you're not known just for Dracula, of course, but that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to come here, so yeah.
Are you going to stay longer after Comic-Con?
Yeah, I'm going to stay for Monday and Tuesday, and then I have to head out, but I'm excited to go explore Bucharest and around the area, so yeah.
It's so funny. I ask all the actors if they're going to stay longer, and they're like, oh, yeah, Monday. I'm like, for actors, I guess, like, one day is a long time.
For American actors, like, we get, like, so little vacation time, so it's like, that is a long time for us, so yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, we look forward to having you back.
Thank you. Yeah, love
for
to.
a longer time, and for you to travel all around Romania.
I want to go to Bran Castle at some point, because I keep getting told like Bran's like the best place to go in Transylvania. So yeah. Cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool.
So I wanted to ask you a question that I have a personal curiosity about, and I've asked all the actors so far, which is how you handle the pandemic artistically, because I know that a lot of people, out of actors, either took a break and were like, listen, this, I'm going to just wait for things to go back to normal, versus other ones were like, no, I'm going to push through, I'm going to do like online projects and stuff like that.
It was really, obviously it was tough for every industry, and I think it was scary because it really felt like we weren't going to come back to work. From what the producers told us on The Walking Dead, season 10 wrapped up in a nice enough way where that storyline was done with the Whisperers, so it looked like it might be the end of the show. And they were toying with the idea of just ending it, like canceling the show. Luckily, of course, they added this extra season, but it was very scary for a while there. We were just convinced that we were not going to not only not come back to The Walking Dead, but any other work, because it just looked dead completely. But luckily, around October of 2020, our producers were like, we're thinking about doing 6 extra episodes, see how it goes, and if it goes all right, we'll maybe do another season. And luckily, those went well, and we proved that we could do it safely. And I'm just grateful for that, because I was not doing so hot back then. I was in a really bad place, and I'm glad we stuck through it, because I feel like some of the last season is some of the best work we've ever done on the show, so it's cool.
There's definitely a time during the pandemic where I was like, this is going to end in like 3 weeks. And then 2 months later, I was like, whoa. And it sort of made me kind of reevaluate like acting, and as an actor myself, like kind of the purpose of acting and how I can help during this time and stuff like that. It was like a big moment for a lot of people.
Yeah, we did a lot of like, to your point, like we did a lot of online like table reads, and I did a lot of like reading for children, like children's books and whatnot, which was cool because I got to revisit some children's books that I read when I was a kid and just put them out there for mass consumption. And it, because a lot of parents were trying to find ways to entertain their kids, and having actors read stories for your children at bedtime or whatever, it was a cool thing to do, but it didn't pay anything, obviously. Like, none of that stuff paid. And when you're like getting to a place where you're running out of money, like a lot of us were, I was like, ooh, I might be screwed and I might have to move back in with my parents at almost 40. And I was like, that's not a fun look, but it worked out. So Oh, good. Yeah.
Moving on to happier moments, I am so curious about your part in Phineas and Ferb.
Okay.
Because I find that to be such a funny crossover, like Phineas and Ferb and Star Wars. And I know that I grew up with Phineas and Ferb. I know a lot of people here did, and we all love Phineas and Ferb here. So I was wondering like what that was like, and how did you even book that role and everything?
So I've been doing voice matching for Harrison Ford for a long time because a lot of actors of a certain like caliber, they don't like to do their voiceover. And for him, especially for a cartoon, they were like, you're not going to get him for it. Because he's big actor, you know, of course. And they asked me if I wanted to audition, and I was like, of course, you know. And because I played Han Solo like 6 times, I guess, over video games, and just did it in the Lego Star Wars, and they got that sort of gruff, you know, hey, Chewie, you know, hey, get off of my, you know, it's like that. I like to do like the older Han Solo or Harrison Ford because he's got more like depth to his voice. But that was interesting because it's obviously like 1977 Harrison Ford, so it's a little bit lighter, a little bit more fun and youthful. So just getting a chance to work with Dan Povenmire and Swampy Marsh, like the creators, just some of the best guys on the planet. And they're actually creating a new show right now on Disney called Hansel and Gretel, I think, or Harriet and Gretel, I think. And it looks good. So hopefully I'll get a chance to work with them on that too. Yeah.
That's also such a funny show. Phineas and Ferb is hilarious. It's so funny. So I know that one of your earlier credits was to play Paul Newman on Mad Men. And when did this idea of sort of like impersonating someone else start for you? When did you figure out that you were good at that?
So I was about 6 years old when I realized my parents, like we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and there were some years that my dad was like really struggling, and the only thing that made him laugh was Johnny Carson. I'm not sure if that name means anything.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
But he was like a huge talk show host, and I thought if I could sound like Johnny Carson, maybe my parents would smile and laugh a little bit, and it just came from that, just wanting to make my parents happy, you know, and from there it went to like John Travolta, because Pulp Fiction was big back when I was 12 or 13, and I just sort of like adding more and more characters. And when I got that part, I realized that he was a huge smoker from that era. So I smoked a pack of cigarettes right before the audition, and I almost lost it because I sounded like a frog when I came into the audition. I was like, "Hi, how are you? I'm Ross Marquand," and they were like, "Oh shit, this guy's not going to get the part." But luckily, the director, he saw some of my voiceover work, and he's like, "I think he can get it." He over prepared by smoking too many cigarettes. So that's how I got the job. Yeah.
Very cool. Did you know that the first thing on YouTube when you put in your name, the first thing that comes up after is impressions? I watched your Vanity Fair video, and then you went on Jimmy Kimmel and did quite a lot of those while you were accepting Oscar awards. So that was really funny. And I was wondering, I know a lot of people probably ask you to do impressions, but I have a personal request. Can you do Justin Timberlake?
For realsies, like, it's so great to be here. Hashtag Romania. Vlad the Impaler. Dracula, baby. What? Forget NSYNC. I'm solo, baby. What?
Yeah.
I love it. Very cool. Are there any other impressions they would like to do?
I mean, we were talking backstage. I know everybody here loves Donald Trump. Am I right? He's the greatest president we ever had. He's a terrific, terrific guy. You gotta love him so much. He could do a lot of great things for your country. He'd make Romania great again, okay? He's a great, great guy, okay? Terrific, really terrific.
Oh, it's like people like.
Oh, that was amazing.
I also like doing Michael Caine, because Michael Caine can make anything sound.
It's a very nice time here in Romania. I'm having a lovely time. I'm going to have a kip after this, and it's been lovely meeting all of you together again. It's lovely, yeah.
So he can make it.
Everything he says is sort of important. You know, you lean in, you're like, what? And he's
what
like,
is he saying? Yeah,
how are you?
Yeah.
Wow.
During the pandemic, I watched Loki like 5 times in a row. So where's my Loki? I met a Loki earlier. We were talking about it, but I was watching Loki for like the 4th or 5th time, and I was like sitting in the couch, just like I was a couch potato the entire pandemic. And all of a sudden I started to just like naturally just accidentally start talking as Tom Hiddleston to myself. And I say, good God, there he is. And it's just like, glorious purpose, there he is, right there. And I was so excited when I finally got him because I'd been working on him for a while. There's some that just come to you and some that are very hard to get, but he was a good one, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, if they just sort of come to you, or if you're like, no, I'm picking this person and I'm like going to perfect that one.
The only one that like really just like came to me in a moment was John C. Reilly, like Wreck-It Ralph or Step Brothers. It's like, because I had to do a last minute audition for the video game of Wreck-It Ralph, and I had to cram like right away, and I was like, I'm kind of nervous about this. I don't know if I'm gonna do this. Oh, there he is. I'm gonna wreck it, you know, and it just popped in there. So it's weird. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but that was one where it worked out all right, yeah.
You mentioned a lot your video game work, and I was wondering if you really like to do that, and kind of like what's sort of different than doing anything else, because it's such an exciting thing to do. And are you a big video game player?
Oh, I'm a huge video gamer. I mean, like, I've been playing video games since I was 5, I think, 6. Whenever my brothers would let me. I had 2 older brothers, and they would just, you know, push me away whenever I tried to get on the Atari. Back in the 80s, yeah, Atari was the first. But then like Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation, obviously. But I used to play a lot of Tekken. I play a lot of Call of Duty now, Fortnite, if I'm wanting to beat up on 12-year-olds, because I'm weird like that. I do a lot of zombie mode on Call of Duty, which is kind of funny because like I kill zombies all day, and then I'm like, oh, come home and I want to kill some more zombies. That's kind of fun, you know. But oh, Limbo. Have you guys played Limbo? Love Limbo. That's like such a, if you guys get a chance, crazy, just like, it's a very simple game, but have you played it?
No.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's like kind of more from a 2-dimensional perspective, but it's a really haunting, kind of gets in your head. That actually gives me nightmares. Oh, and Little Nightmares too. That's a good game too, yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's is good too, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. What was the question? I'm just like mentioning games that I like.
No, I love it.
What was
if you're a big video game player, which you answered, and kind of like what you like about doing this job.
Well, Graham McTavish and I were just talking. We just met, but we realized we were working on the same video game 5 years ago that unfortunately got canceled. It was for Star Wars, and it was really cool because we were all wearing these motion capture suits that like you're actually playing out the part in real time. But it was this incredible role where I played this like 3-eyed alien who talked like this. He got a great little lilt to his voice, and everything was, you know, it was a fantastic role, but they unfortunately canceled it like halfway through because they went in a different direction. But it was a good video game, yeah. So,
really cool. So yeah. Comic-Con really is your place. Like, there's a lot of video game. Like, I saw so many Fortnite merch, so much Fortnite merch. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the question?
This is kind of like you love Comic-Con, like you love coming here and.
Oh yeah, I love doing this stuff because like once I'm done with my autograph stuff, I like usually walk the floor and just buy a bunch of stuff and give to my family or take for myself because I'm a nerd and I like this stuff, you know. So yeah, get to bring it back to the States. Stuff that you can't find in America, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
So you were talking earlier about killing zombies for a living, right? That's what you do. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about The Walking Dead. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about that, but starting with a very big and vague question, but what was your favorite part of that experience? What was your favorite part of that experience of Walking Dead?
Oof. I mean, I remember I was a fan of the show before I got on it, and I remember getting to set that first day. And Atlanta during the summertime, it was almost exactly 8 years ago. It was August 29th, 2014 was my first day on set. I only remember that because it was a week after my birthday. And I'm flying out to Atlanta. I sweat through, it was kind of like here. I was sweating like crazy, sweat through 3 pairs of shirts because I was so nervous. And I finally got smart and I chose a black pair of shirts so they couldn't see up my sweat. And the first person I met was Andrew Lincoln, Rick, obviously. And he gave me a great big hug, and he's like, welcome to the family, you know? And I was just like, holy crap, that's Rick Grimes, you know? And I just remember everyone being so welcoming and so warm. And I thought, this is a dream come true, you know? So from the beginning to the end, it's just been kind of this surreal ride, you know? And I'm very grateful to be a part of it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But
I know that kind of like the first scene that you're in, you're sort of like, hey, hello, I'm a stranger, please don't, kill me. So can you talk a little bit about the arc of that character until the end? And it's a big question, but what did you learn from him?
yeah, I mean, Aaron's he's like the nicest guy in the apocalypse. I mean, as I said to the showrunners a few years ago, I said he's almost too nice because he gets beat up by everybody. He gets beat up by Rick. He gets beat up by the Oceansiders, the Heapsters, the Saviors. And I was like, he's got to have a breaking point, At a certain point, all of us, no matter how kind we are, especially in the apocalypse, I think we'd have like a moment where we say, all right, enough is enough. I'm gonna fight back. And I will say to their credit, after I mentioned that, they've taken in a much different direction, and that's when they cut off my arm. Spoiler, if you guys haven't seen that part. That was like 3 years ago, so hopefully it's not that much of a spoiler, but they cut my arm off, and then they said they're gonna let me have my beard, which I was so grateful for because I missed my beard. I had to shave it when I got the job, and I was like, ooh, I just love my beard, and they were like, that's got to go, and they just made him a lot darker, and that's been a really nice journey to see him go from like this nice, super sweet guy to a little bit of a darker version. It's been cool, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I can't say whether or not he lives or dies at the end, obviously, but there's some fun stuff coming these last 8 episodes, yeah.
Awesome. Before I hand you to the audience, I was wondering if you've seen House of the Dragon.
No, I've wanted to see it. How many of you guys seen House of Dragon? Is it amazing?
Quite a bit.
Is it good?
Oh no.
Like as good as Game of Thrones?
Some mixed feelings.
Yeah? Oh, he's like, okay. I've heard it's amazing, and I'll watch anything in that genre because like I think Game of Thrones can do no wrong. Even the last season, I'm like, I know it got a lot of clap the last season, but I still think that show, even at its lowest, was better than 99% of what's out there. So I have nothing but love for that show. Yeah.
Would you love to have been in it?
Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Okay, which character or which house? Give me.
That would have been. I mean, Walking Dead's been amazing, but like to be on Game of Thrones too would have been. I could die happy, honestly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions for Ross? Oh yeah.
Oh, the nun. Oh my God, that's scary as hell. Shit.
Hello.
Yep, sir.
Hello.
First of all, thank you for being here. I am a huge Walking Dead and Marvel Universe fan. My question is actually about Aaron in The Walking Dead. Aaron has been a part of the lineup before Negan. Spoiler alert, when Negan killed Abraham and Glenn. And I was wondering if you could talk a little about that scene. For me, it was very emotional. My heart was racing. I could barely breathe. And I just imagine what it has been for you.
Yeah, that was I think some of our best work on the show. Like it was the worst shit we ever went through on the show, but also some of the most rewarding work because we're on our knees like hard rock for like 2 weeks straight, and we just have to keep summoning tears over and over again because at first we're thinking, well, it might be me who gets the bat, and then second, once we find out it's going to be Glenn and Abraham, then it's just the tears of losing our friends, because at first it's just fear, secondly it's just sadness, like overwhelming sadness over and over again, and we had to stay in that place for literally like 2 weeks straight because of the season 6, the finale. That was 3 or 4 days of shooting, and then the finale or the first episode of season 7 was another week or and a half. So it was sadness porn. It was just too much. It was just so much sadness over and over again. But I will say one of the funnier moments, and this is pretty messed up, but after Glenn got his head smashed in, his eyeball was hanging out by like a thread, because that's from the comics. It was just kind of dangling right here. I don't know if this is like popular in Romania, but they have those paddle ball games, where you're just like banging, and his eyeball was doing that, was bouncing around like this, and I was like, dude, you gotta stop moving because I'm about to throw up. This is too much. I can't handle, because that's how good they are on the show. The special effects makeup guys, Greg Nicotero and all of K&B, like they actually make you think that this is a real head trauma. It was so well done. and my Abraham with his canute-in head. It was tough to watch. Like two of my best friends get their heads bashed in, but then it was all kind of joking afterwards. So it was super sad, and then it was kind of like light and funny afterwards. So that was I think one of my favorite scenes to shoot because it was so rewarding, but also so sad. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
I suppose that in acting, like in many fields, the learning doesn't stop. Was there any piece of advice that you've received since you joined the industry that really stayed with you, that you found valuable?
Yeah, I mean, the best advice I would say is just know that rejection is a part of the job. It's like 95% of the job, if not more than that. So if you stop taking everything personally and you just realize you're going to go up for so many different jobs and they're not going to be right for you. You might be giving a great audition and you're like, why didn't I get that job? I did a great job. Well, maybe they're looking for a certain ethnicity or a certain, blonde hair, brown hair, whatever, blue hair. There's a lot of different reasons that go into why you didn't get a part. And as long as you just have fun and just let that stuff roll off your back, you're going to get there eventually, I think. The right role will always get to you. Are you wanting to be an actor? Or? Oh, okay. Well, I guess even if other professions, I would just say, never take the rejections personally, because it's all just learning. It's all just opportunities to grow as an actor or as a person. And whether it's that industry or a different industry, whether it's interview or an audition, just never take it personally, because it's all about the growth along the way, Yeah. Thank you. Hello, my T-shirt friend. She has 7 Walking Dead T-shirts. It's incredible.
Again.
Hello again.
Which character from The Walking Dead do you like the most and why?
I mean, Rick is obviously my all-time favorite because I think the show is literally, it belongs to him. But if I'm being also from a selfish standpoint, Abraham was he was one of my best friends before he got killed. That sounds funny to say. Yeah, before he got killed, Abraham just had the best lines. I think he was the most dependable fighter. He was just an awesome character through and through, and I miss him like crazy. But luckily, he's gotten a chance to direct a bunch of episodes after he was on the show, so that's been nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Hello.
Hello.
She has a tattoo of The Last of Us on her. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
I wanted to ask. I read an article a few years ago, where one of the writers of The Walking Dead said that he has endless ideas and it would never end. I don't know how true it was, but I read it, and now it's ending. And I wonder was it just such a sudden thing?
Yeah, it was actually pretty odd because we thought we were going to get a season 12 and 13. There was Scott Gimple, who I think you're referring to. He really thought that we were going to go for season 15. It was like he had ideas literally going through season 15, and it was looking like that. But then because of the pandemic and everything, I think AMC was just realizing how much it was going to cost to film every episode, because the amount of money it costs with extra medical equipment and everything, it's like an extra $1 million every episode. And I think they just looked at the budget and they said, we can't sustain this for 5 more years. So they said they were going to cancel it after season 11. But luckily, it's a super-sized season. There's 24 episodes instead of 16. So there's more episodes than ever before. And we've been working our ass off on it. So hopefully you guys like it. I know it sucks that it's ending, but luckily they got the spin-offs with Rick and Michonne and Daryl and Maggie and Negan. So there's plenty of TV to watch, and hopefully there'll be other spin-offs as well. But yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Hi, man. Hello.
So I wanted to ask, why would you recommend someone who didn't watch The Walking Dead to watch the series this year, for example?
Yeah, I think, it's funny. My parents thought when I first got the job, I told them, hey, I'm going to be on the show. And they're like, oh, that's nice. It's not for us. It's too gory, because they're in their 70s, and they're like, it's too gory for us. I'm like, but your son, he's on the show. Would you want to watch it? And finally they got around to watching it. I said, if you just watch the first episode and you don't like it, it's not for you. But I really felt like that first episode was like a movie, you know? And if you see that first episode and you don't like it, it's probably not going to be for you. But if you see that and you're digging it, you will love that show. And the episodes where it gets a little slow or whatever, I always tell people like push through, because the show as a whole, it's damn good, you know? So, yeah. So I just say, tell them to watch the first episode, and if they don't like that, it's not for them, probably, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. Hello. See you again. Oh.
So your character Aaron did kill a lot of walkers, right?
Sorry, we can't really hear you. Can you speak in the microphone?
Okay. It's okay now?
Yes, much better.
Aaron did kill a lot of walkers. Did you have a funny moment regarding killing a walker?
I think
a funny moment killing a walker.
Oh, God, yeah. Actually, one of the first, I think it was the second episode I was in. The Rick and the gang don't trust me, so they tie me up, and I'm next to a tree. I'm like cornered up against the tree, and I have to keep kicking this walker away from me. And we had just come back from lunch, and I feel bad mentioning this story, but I won't mention his name. But he was a stunt walker, and he had his pads right here. And every time I kicked him in the stomach, he farted. Like it was. What's the Romanian word for fart? What is it? Bruts. Yeah. Is that right? Okay. So he would go bruts, bruts, and I was like, dude, you got to stop farting, because like I'm like laughing the entire time I'm kicking him away. I'm like, you got to stop, man, like because I can't be in this scene, because it was one, it was very loud farts, and two, it was like very aromatic farts. So I was just like, man, I got totally out of the scene, and I just started laughing, and I had to walk away. But that was probably my most hilarious walker kill, yeah, on the show, yeah. I think so. Thank you. Thanks. How to say bruts? Bruts. Learning something new every day. Yeah, it's good.
The most important word.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course. Francesca.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I wanted to ask you, which was your favorite season to play Aaron in, and how challenging was it for you as an actor?
Honestly, this season's been really rewarding, because he's, again, turned into more of a darker badass. Like, for years I just kept saying, he's too nice, you got to give him some action, you got to give him something to do. And finally, after losing Eric, after losing Jesus, after losing all, Glenn and Abraham, so many of his best friends, Tara, Enid, also spoilers, sorry, you're not caught up, but these are people that he loved and like really cared about. So he's finally gotten that edge, and I think having a daughter really that he wants to protect, he's really taken on this great fatherly role, but also as a leader, he's becoming like a general, and I just love that he's becoming like a one-man killing machine with that mace, like getting a chance to blow up people's heads with a mace. Like it's ridiculous, but it is really fun to kill people with that thing, because it looks so badass. It's uncomfortable as hell to wear that, but it looks cool when you make a kill. So if there is a real zombie apocalypse, I'm gonna get a mace arm. And actually, there was a real metal one they made for me when I had to break open doors or break through windows, and I might have kept it at the end of shooting. So if there is a zombie apocalypse, I'm gonna put that thing on, and hell yeah. I'll be fine. Just come to my house. I'll take care of you guys. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hello, welcome here.
Thank you.
My question is about Invincible. What is your overall opinion about the show, and how did you feel playing the Immortal?
So, how many people have seen Invincible? Anybody out there? Oh, cool. Okay, just a few. So, it's by Robert Kirkman, who also did The Walking Dead. I think it's one of the best shows on TV. Like, a lot of people love The Boys. You guys like The Boys? Yeah. It's kind of like an animated version of The Boys, but I would say a little bit even more messed up than that. Like, it goes to places that I never thought a superhero show could go to. Like, with gore, with the themes that it examines, and getting to play a guy who's been alive for, I think, 500 years, what Robert told me. He was once Abraham Lincoln, one of our greatest presidents, and he was a Viking warrior and all these different versions of him. He's a badass, and I just feel like there's so many worlds that he's seen, and getting a chance to bring a guy to life who's literally lived for centuries has been so much fun. But we just started recording season 3, and I can't wait for you guys to see season 2 and 3, because if you thought season 1 was messed up, it doesn't even compare to what season 2 and 3 look like. It's one of the most messed up shows I've ever been a part of, and I'm very proud to say that. Yeah, so I'm excited for you guys to watch it. Yeah.
Thanks for the heads up.
Of course, yeah. Everybody dies. So, yeah.
Hi, Ross.
Hello.
We just witnessed the little show you put on with impersonating voices, and I was wondering if there's a role you really want to play in your life. Like, I was born for this, I want to play this.
Ooh. That's really interesting that you say
Sorry
that.
if it's a hard one.
Well, no, it is a hard one. I mean, like, I would love to do like a biopic about Christopher Walken, because I feel like that dude has been through so much. He's seen so much. He's been around for 50 years doing his thing, you know?
And I just feel like this guy, he's crazy. And you love the way he talks. He's got a lot of stories, this guy. And I feel like it'd be interesting to see a story about him.
He's apparently like one of the most interesting people to work with, because he'll just wander off on set. He'll strip down and he'll like wade around in a pool. He's just like he beats to the tune of his own drum. He's like a really wild guy, and I think that story, if I ever got a chance to play an actor or a famous person, it'd be Christopher Walken. That'd be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Hello.
Hello, Ross.
Good to see you again.
You too. My question to you is, how did you get your role as Red Skull in Avengers after Hugo Weaving did not reprise his role in those last movies?
How did I get the role? Is that oh yeah,
yes, as Red Skull.
So Hugo, I thought was going to come back to it, as we all did, and apparently they tried to work out with everything, but I guess he wasn't available for whatever reason. So towards the end of filming Infinity War, they reached out to my manager and they asked if I did a Hugo Weaving impression. And Hugo is like the master of accents. Like, he's from Australia, but he does American, English. He does so many different great accents. And they said, well, it's kind of like a German Hugo Weaving, but we can't say what it is. And I'm like, are we talking about like Red Skull? And they're like, well, we can't really say, because even back then, the project was called Mary Lou. They didn't tell me it was Avengers until I got to set. So I booked the job, and I got there, and it's like a room like this, and there's 150 people waiting for me, and I'm putting on the motion capture. I had no idea it was the Avengers until they started doing the dots on the face, and you wear like a head camera right here. And I look at the makeup artist, and I said, what the hell is this? Because I just thought it was a voiceover job. And he kind of leans forward. He's like, they didn't tell you? I'm like, no. He's like, this is the new Avengers. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's exciting, but also I wish I had known that, because I would have maybe psyched myself up a little bit more for it. Maybe I would have gotten too nervous, so maybe it's better I didn't know. But basically, I thought I was just going to come in and do some fill-in for the voiceover, and I found out that I was actually replacing the part entirely, which was so much fun, because as a kid, I grew up drawing Red Skull and Wolverine and Ghost Rider, and like I was really obsessed with characters that had skulls for faces. So for me, it was just like a really interesting circle from my childhood to being in my mid-30s, like getting a chance to play this role. And the Russo brothers were so cool, and they just had like the best advice for how to play this guy who's now 80 years in the future. He's a broken man. He's not the same Red Skull we saw in the first Avenger, right? He's actually cursed with this infinite knowledge, but he has no ambition anymore. He doesn't want to be this Nazi general. He's just kind of a slave to the Soul Stone, you know? And so they asked me to infuse a bit of Hugo Weaving's performance with Yoda from Star Wars. Not the voice necessarily. I wasn't like, yes, find the Soul Stone you must. It wasn't doing that. But it was like the age and the wisdom of Yoda mixed in with Red Skull, and I thought that was such a beautiful note. I can't remember if it was Anthony or Joe who told me, but it dropped me right into where I needed to be with the character, and I that's one of my favorite things I've ever been a part of.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi.
Sorry.
So, if you could bring back one character from The Walking Dead, the one that are not dead, so Rick Grimes is off, who would it be? And if you do this, you're gonna need to kill one person that is alive.
You're gonna make me kill one person? Jesus. I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble with this question. Yeah. So I can bring back somebody from life, and I have to kill one person to bring them back?
Exactly.
Jesus. I'm gonna get in trouble no matter what. But I mean, selfishly, again, I would have brought back Abraham because that's my boy, and I love Michael so much. But I also would have liked to have seen Shane come back, because I know that people hated on Shane in the beginning. Obviously, he stole Rick's woman and everything. But like, if you look at where Rick wound up in season 5 and 6 and beyond, he's pretty similar to Shane, actually. So I would say Shane would be a badass fighter, and he could probably take on Negan in a way that maybe Rick wouldn't be able to, because Negan requires a bit more ethical ambiguity, I guess. And Rick was always trying to be a good guy, but Shane would maybe be able to work around that. And if I had to kill one character, jeez, man. I'm going to get into trouble no matter what I say here, so I'm going to say the governor, because screw that guy. Yeah. Even though I love David Morrissey. No, yeah. Yeah, that's what I would say, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello again.
Hi again.
Tim.
Hi. So I know a lot of actors talk about baggage that they leave on set before going home, and I know it's an idiosyncratic experience for all of you, but have you ever found it hard to extricate yourself from Aaron and the traumatic experience that is The Walking Dead, like the lineup and such?
That's a great question. Also, really nice vocabulary. I was like, damn.
Thank you.
It was like some $5 words right there. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of us after the lineup with Negan and the Bat fell into kind of a little depression for a few weeks, because I mean, your body and your mind don't really know the difference when you're crying that much and you're going through that much trauma. Obviously, it's not real, and you know that on a logical level, but your brain, when it's crying that much and you're creating those endorphins, it doesn't know the difference. So we all just had like crazy backaches and muscle aches for a while, because not so much the being hunched over, it was more just the pain of going there over and over again, imagining your own fate, being killed by this psycho, or imagining your friend's gonna get killed, and then when they do get killed, it's just like they just made us cry so much. And if we weren't able to summon tears, they'd be like, okay, well, wait. And it was just like, okay, it was just like, you know, having to cry over and over again. It sounds easy, but it's really tough to cry that much over and over again, you know. So for a while there, we were all pretty depressed after that scene. Yeah.
Simon was actually talking earlier, Simon Merrill's, about having nightmares from all the roles he's playing, and like of waking up in sweats. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what happened to Heath Ledger too. I mean, like a lot of, and Jack Nicholson even told him after the role, he was like, be careful, because you can kind of convince yourself you're this other. If you commit to the role too much, I think you run the risk of blurring the line between fantasy and reality, you know. And it's very unfortunate what happened to him. And I think that like you have to be really careful that you don't go too far, you know. Yeah.
And as a farewell, were Jesus and Aaron canon? So were they a couple?
Can you say that again, please? Closer to the microphone. Something about Jesus?
Jesus and Aaron, were they canon? Like together?
Were they together? Oh, yeah. So Tom and I worked out the idea, even though it was never on screen, we decided they were together during that 6-year time jump. Is that what you asked, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we thought it was a stronger choice, even though it wasn't in the scripts. We were like, you know, they wind up together in the comics, and we just felt like it was the right choice for us to play it that way, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ooh, Scarlet Witch. Nice. Very nice. Did you like Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I loved it.
Of course. She's
like,
so
no.
psychotic in that, though, isn't she? She's willing to risk the entire multiverse just to be closer to her boys. I guess that's a thing that only mothers will understand, but yeah.
She's a mother, not a monster.
I don't know. She was pretty messed up. I don't know. I wouldn't have done that, but that's just me. But no, anyway, I'm kidding. Yeah.
My question is actually about Red Skull.
Okay.
So you played him in Avengers, then voiced him in What If, and I would ask, were there any major differences, and what was it like going from playing a character to voicing the same character?
Oh, that's a great question. Big differences. The first time I did it, I was actually expecting to show up on set doing the Captain America, there are no flags, this, what Hugo did in the first Avenger. But then when they got there, the Russo brothers were like, he's broken, he's got no more ambition, he's almost like a ghost now, and they even like kind of draw him up as a ghost, like he's floating and he's kind of like not even there really. But for What If, of course, it was kind of like a carbon copy of what you saw in Captain America: The First Avenger. So I was trying really, really hard to sound just like what Hugo had done for the first film, and I love playing both versions of him because the first, Infinity War and Endgame, he's this very sad, broken individual, or like a ghost. But in the What If episode, we really get to see that excited, almost like gleeful leader who wants to take over the world. And Red Skull was always one of my favorite characters as a kid, so I was fun playing that version of him as well. And hopefully I'll get a chance to do more of that down the road. We'll see. Knock on wood. Well, this is IKEA. That's not real wood. Knock on wood, figuratively. Yeah. So yeah, knock on wood. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm also hopeful to see that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry, I came a bit late, so if this question was asked before,
okay.
Please ignore it. In the new season for Invincible, are there any spoilers that you can give us?
Yeah, everyone dies. It's just like, again, if you haven't seen Invincible, I cannot recommend that show enough. It is, have you seen it? Oh, it's one of the most messed up, gory, but also like satisfying shows I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it. Like I would have loved it even if I wasn't working on it. It's just so well written and so well done. And truly, like, it's a bloodbath. It's just an absolute bloodbath, season 2. And we're about to start season 3, recording it. I'm sure it's going to be even bloodier. But I'm excited for you to watch it because it's messed up. It's just very messed up, yeah.
And the follow-up question, will the script for the TV show, for the animation, be closer to the comic, or will there be like a twist or further break?
I think it's going to have a lot of stuff from the comic, but there's going to be some twists in there too. So I think you'll like it. It's going to keep you on your toes, but it'll give enough honor to what you read in the comics as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You touched on this a little bit yesterday, but did people expect you to play Red Skull sort of like close to Hugo's portrayal, or did you have creative freedom at all?
I thought I was going to do it just like what Hugo had done, because when I got the voice match, the reference files were literally just taken right from First Avenger. So I just naturally assumed I was going to go in there and be Hugo, but then when I got there, the Russo brothers immediately were like, no, he's an older, wizened, more like broken man. He's like a ghost now almost, he is like a floating ghost man. I think even Hawkeye even says the floaty guy over there, and he's just a sadder, more like evolved in some ways, because he's so tethered to the Soul Stone, like. From what the writers told me, they were like, he is literally just the guardian of the Soul Stone. Like, that's all his sole purpose is to guard the Soul Stone, And that's when the Russo brothers, I can't remember if it was Joe or Anthony, said, we want you to infuse Yoda into the performance. And that was actually fun for me, because I was just expecting to do a straight voice match, an impression basically. and then getting a chance to add this whole other element to it was really cool.
We were talking earlier about people that we lost too soon and actors that, left us too soon. And I was wondering if you and Chadwick were close at all, Chadwick Boseman. And
I met Chadwick at the Avengers Infinity War premiere briefly. We were up at the red carpet at the same time, and he seemed lovely. And everybody who met him and worked with him just said the best things about him. I'm sad that I never got a chance to really, work with him or meet him properly. But we lost him way too soon. It was devastating. Yeah. And I will say, as a credit to him, that was going on. He was wrestling with his illness the entire time he was shooting Black Panther, and he didn't let anyone know because he didn't want anyone to worry about him. And I just think it speaks to the kind of person that he was, that he was staying strong for the crew and for his friends and family. But he was wrestling with that the whole time. I mean, it's incredible, But
you were talking earlier about sort of, we're talking about green screens and motion captures and everything, and we're talking about how you kind of do your thing, and then they take your performance and they put it in this unity, into this whole. And that's kind of what it is on a different level with voiceover a little bit. You do your thing in the booth, and then that sort of becomes a bigger thing, right? It's part of the whole. Now,
Oh, good.
I was wondering if you can talk to us about your voiceover work more, and specifically What If, because I feel like we didn't talk about that much yesterday.
Yeah, so back in the day, can you guys hear it all right? Is this better? Or should I do into the mic or like that? Like this or like that? The first one? First one, good. Okay. Back in the day, you used to all be in the room together. Like, if like the front row, if we were all in the film together, all 5 of you would be in the room together, and the director's right there, and the engineer's right there, and you're getting to work together as a unit. But nowadays, post-pandemic especially, you are mostly recording out of your home studio. You have no idea what the other actors are going to do, so they'll have you do the take maybe 5, 6 different times, different ways, so that they can have you play off of the person, knowing full well, like, you're never going to meet that person. It was really funny when I did Ultron for What If, because I had no idea who was going to be playing Captain Marvel, because Brie Larson didn't come back to the role, but my friend Alexandra did. And I've known Alexandra for years, but I had no idea she was playing Captain Marvel until I watched it. I was like, what? And I texted her, I was like, you were amazing, but I had no idea you were, like, I had no idea she was playing that.
Is it because of the secrecy around the whole thing, or were you just kind of not informed?
But also, they just never told us. Yeah. So, and I even asked them, like, do you have the reference track for who's ever playing Captain Marvel? And they said, no, we haven't recorded her yet. So I was recording all of this intense fight sequence in the core of, what planet was it? She tackles me and we go down to the core of this planet, and I'm blanking on the name. It's from Guardians of the Galaxy. That planet from Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah. And we're fighting in the core of this planet, and it's this huge, battle sequence. And I had no idea who was playing her until I watched the damn thing. So
how do you do it? Like, if you have, let's say, like a really big fight scene or something, you are just going
Yeah, you just go. Yeah. And then it works. Yeah.
There's a name for those, right? What is it?
Efforts. They call them efforts. Yeah. But,
that's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, like, you in the booth, you feel like an idiot because you're in there. You're like, and you never think that they're going to use that because you feel so dumb doing it. But then the way they cut it in there, audio sells a performance so much more than what you're seeing on screen. And it really does sell it. So you have to give all of your performance with your voice when it's doing voiceover. So yeah, you can't rely on what your face is doing because they're not going to see that. So you really do just have to sell it all with your voice. Yeah. Ooh, I think they have a fan. Is that a fan? Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. That's cool. Yeah. All right. Oh, is it a plane? What is that? What do you have there in your hand?
Oh.
Is it it's a clapper.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. I got excited. I'm looking at all these fans and I'm coveting them. So I'm like, oh, I want a fan. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No worries.
I have ADD. I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
You mentioned the pandemic a little earlier and kind of the changes that had to be done after that. And in terms of acting, I know it's kind of like a double-edged sword because there's more opportunities for actors now, I feel, because they're casting a lot more off of self-tapes, but also like from an acting standpoint, like there's more competition, right? Because they're seeing more people, because whatever. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, it's a good and bad thing, right? It's really a double-edged sword because, like you said, you are able to send in more auditions because you can record a million different things from home as opposed to driving all over town and waiting in a lobby for 2 hours sometimes to be seen. And now there's much more of a democratic way of getting your stuff out there. However, like you said, you're not getting a chance to work with the directors. They're not giving you feedback and adjustments in the room. So oftentimes you go in blind to an audition not really knowing what they want. The casting director oftentimes will know what the director needs. And if they're not able to communicate that, then you're just kind of shit out of luck, you know? So I really do think it's a safer way to audition now. Yeah. It's a smart way to audition, but we are losing something in the connection. In the connection, exactly, yeah. So
yeah. You were part of two very different worlds with the Avengers and Walking Dead and stuff, but would you be interested in being in something like Vikings, for example?
In Vikings?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's like one of my favorite shows. When I watched it, and I had a really big beard when I first started watching Vikings, I was like, I could be on that. I just, need to get like a cool side shave and grow my hair out a little bit. I grow my hair out a lot, actually, but yeah, I would love to do that. That would be amazing, yeah.
Are you a fan of Rollo? We do have Clive stand-in here with us.
And if you guys have a chance to meet him, Clive is awesome. I just met him yesterday, but he's awesome. He's a good dude. And Lucy, too, yeah. Yeah. So.
You know what? One impression that we didn't do yesterday. You did quite a few. James Gandolfini. We didn't do that one.
Are there a lot of Gandolfini fans out there? You guys like The Sopranos? You got two.
Yeah, there are a few.
3.
Hey, what the fuck is this? I'll break your legs. Come on.
I can't do Gandolfini without cursing. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It's just like,
what are you doing here? Hey.
Yeah. It just it goes with the territory, So yeah.
Very nice. I think we're ready for the Put story.
Oh no. We're going to do that again? No. We don't want to hear that again, I'm sure.
Do they? Do they not? They don't want to hear it?
Basically, she asked me yesterday what was the most memorable death sequence I ever had with a walker. And season 5, it was my second episode on the show, I got bound by Rick and the gang because they didn't trust me at first. And I was cornered up against a tree by myself with my hands tied behind my back, and I had to kick away this walker, and we had just come back from lunch. I feel bad, I won't mention the guy's name, but like every time I kicked him in the stomach, he let out a putz. Right? Am I saying it right?
That's right.
Putz. And it was just non-stop putzes every time I kicked him, and that's my story. Yeah, I hope you liked it.
Love it. Are there any questions for Ross? Again, feel free to. Yeah, go ahead. There's a microphone right there, so.
Let me hear your questions. Nice.
Hi, Ross.
Hello again. Oh, I like the new shirt.
A new shirt.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I just wanted to thank you for coming here in Romania and help me to keep my dream true, because it does.
Thank you.
And I just want to tell you that I love you so much. And appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I was curious, what career do you think you would have pursued if you hadn't been an actor?
Oh, that's funny. I really wanted to be an architect when I was a kid. My grandmother took me, she lived in Chicago before she passed, and there was this great architecture tour that you could go on in Chicago. Chicago has one of the best architectures of any city in America, in the world, honestly. And because of the Chicago fire of 18 whatever, most of the city got leveled. So they built on top of the pre-existing town. And so you can go on this tour that goes in the river, the Chicago River, and you can see like where the old town was, and they just built on top of it. And I just thought, what an amazing thing to be a part of, to like design buildings that could be in a city for 200-300, in your guys' cases, 700 or 800 years. You know, we don't really have that in America. We have a 50-year-old building, and we're like, wow, that's ancient. You know, we're like, that's incredible. But yeah, architecture was kind of my jam back in the day. I still love architecture, but I feel like changing now at this stage of my life and like learning all the stuff, I don't have the patience for that. So I think I'm going to stick with being an actor for a while. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello again.
Hey, dude.
How you doing?
I love how we didn't talk about this before, but I was going to ask a very similar question. Because you mentioned yesterday about the struggles in your childhood and with your family and stuff. So I was wondering if you always knew that you were going to be an actor. And I guess as a follow-up question is, how did you prepare for that? How did you do any sort of formal education in voice acting or acting in general? Or what was your sort of trajectory or journey?
I think, like we were talking about yesterday, I never really like knew I was going to be an actor. I just... we weren't like poor, but we were like not really doing really well as a family. Like money was very, very tight in the 80s and 90s for our family, and my dad was doing his best, but you know, he got angry, he got upset, and it was like a scary time for him. Looking back, I don't know how he was able to keep the family afloat, because like one year he made $12,000 for a family of 5. I mean, that just kind of gives you an idea of like how tight money was back then. So he'd get pissed off and he'd take it out on my mom, and then they'd take it out on my brothers, and then my older brothers would take it out on me, and I just got the shit kicked out of me all the time. And I felt like if I could make them laugh, then they would stop beating me up, you know? So for me, it was more like the desire to act came from a place of self-preservation. It was just wanting to not get beat up all the time. And I think as time went on, I realized it could be a force of change. I could make people happier. I could entertain people, you know? So that's kind of where I started doing it, and then I later just found a real joy in it, you know, in middle school and high school, and then decided to pursue it in college. I got a BFA, University of Colorado, and yeah, in terms of formal training, nowadays, I mean, there's so many great teachers out there, and I do think formal training is very important, but I also think your gut is the most important thing. Watching, I mean, we talked yesterday, but this guy, he's apparently from Romania. I don't believe him. Both of you have like perfect American accents, and it's tripping me out. I feel like you're both lying to me, but it's like, it's wild, because like when we talked, both of you yesterday, I literally thought you guys were from America. So it's that thing. It's the repetition. It's pushing yourself, trying to find new voices, trying to find new ways of delivering lines. The worst thing a casting director can say to you is no. That's the worst thing they're going to say. They're not going to berate you. They're not going to make you feel bad. So as long as you remember that rejection is a part of the process, you can do no wrong. You'll just have to keep going back up there and saying, okay, I got rejected 500 times, but maybe this time it'll be working out, you know? So never take it personally, and just keep doing more and more work, because eventually someone's going to say, that guy's perfect for this role, you know? And you are perfect for a lot of different roles. You know that. You just have to believe that. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, dude.
Yeah, of course, man.
And no one's going to beat you up here. We all love you.
Okay, cool. Nice. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello. I just wanted to start with saying thank you, first of all, because I absolutely love you in The Walking Dead, and thank you for such an amazing performance.
Thank you.
And I was wondering, in such a crazy world like The Walking Dead universe, the psychological damage must be unbelievable for all the characters. Everybody has been through hell and back, basically. So in a hypothetical situation where the show would end on a positive note, there's a cure or something, how do you think people would come back from that? Would they struggle to go back to a quote-unquote normal life?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think Alexandria kind of poses that question, right? And Commonwealth, because everyone seems like they're okay. They seem like they're living normal again. But if it was like fully cured and they had to go back to it, I think a lot of our survivors would have a very hard time going back. Especially, I mean, anybody who's been on the show for a few years, like, you know, Aaron, Daryl, Carol, Michonne, Rick, Eugene, Rosita, like, they would have a very hard time adjusting because they've been in survival mode for so long that I think to introduce a world where there are no more zombies, that would honestly seem like foreign to them. It would be like going back to like a desk job and like answering phone calls. Like, no, what are they going to do? They're going to like become like a marketing guy? Like, no, they're going to go out there and still want to kill, you know. And I think it would be too weird for them, you know. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Hello again.
Hello, Ross.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you, which celebrity do you like to do impressions most, and who would you like to work with if you have like a future project you want to do?
Damn. So I love doing Christian Bale. I like doing Christian Bale a lot because the way he talks every time. Matthew McConaughey too is like one of those guys who like can make everything sound cool. It's just like, all right, man, here's the deal. We're here in Romania, all right? Here's a cool thing. We're all here right now. It's warm outside. It's in here. It's a little bit cooler, but it's also pretty hot. All right, all right. You know, like, thank you. But like, the dude can make anything sound cool, you know? And for me, I love that he's stretched himself as an actor. He's stopped doing movies where he just takes off his shirt. He's really pushed himself into this mode where like he wants to be taken seriously as an actor, and from True Detective onwards, he's just done nothing but amazing work. So I'd love to work with McConaughey and Christian Bale too. I think Christian Bale and Gary Oldman, honestly, two of my favorite actors on the planet, and I would love to do anything with those guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Hello. Is that a rubber chicken? What is that?
No, this is the Meowth.
Oh, it's a Pokemon. Yeah, okay, gotcha. I only saw the feet, and I was sorry. Yeah.
No worries. First of all, hi.
Hello.
I'm a big fan. I did not know you were going to be here.
Oh.
But
I'm here. Hey.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I was walking by the t-shirt stands and I heard your voice and I was like, this guy sounds familiar. Why? And I remember that last month I did an Avengers binge watch, all of the movies in one night.
Oh, gee. What? What do you mean?
I watched all of the Avengers movies.
Oh, okay.
All
so
of them.
Not the MCU. Okay. Are you saying like Avengers 1, Age of Ultron?
Yes, in chronological order.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool.
And I love everything that you do. Cool. I am a big fan. And I wanted to ask you one thing. I mean, it's a two-parter. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you could revisit a role, which one would it be?
If I could revisit a role?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I mean, Red Skull for sure. Because I feel like seeing where he goes now that he's free of the Soul Stone, we already know he can fly. I'm curious to know what else he could do, you know? And at the end of Endgame, of course, we know that Captain America returns all the stones, right? I think it would be a really interesting miniseries to see what he does and how he gets those stones back to everybody. Like an 8-part miniseries where like the first one is like setting up how he does it, and then 6 episodes of returning the Time Stone and the Power Stone and the Reality Stone. Like, I think it'd be fascinating. And of course, once he gets to the Soul Stone, that's gonna be awkward as hell, you know, like, oh, hey man, what's up? I thought you were dead for like 80 years and now you can fly. That's cool. Like, I just think it'd be a really interesting thing to see those two guys play off of each other, you know?
Yes, thank you. And the second part of the question, what is a role that you would love to play in the future?
I mean, as a kid, I always used to want to play Wolverine. Like, Wolverine was that character that I just thought, my God, this guy, he gets it. Like, I think any kid who's ever gone through puberty and listened to like depressing music, they're like, that guy gets me. I know. I see myself in him. Like he's like an outcast. You know, he gets beat up wherever he goes, and you know, people want to fight him for whatever reason. Ooh, sorry. But Hugh Jackman did such a great job with that role. I mean, like he knocked it out of the park. I don't think there's anybody in my mind who could play Hugh Jackman. I mean, play Wolverine better than Hugh Jackman now. So. And Moon Knight was my second choice, and Oscar did a great job with him too. So now, any role, and like in the Marvel world, or just any role in the Marvel world? Okay. Damn, this is tough. This is really tough. Come back to my table and I'll tell you. I can't think of anybody right now, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you.
First of all, hi.
Hello
again. We met yesterday.
I remember.
But I've been wanting to ask you if you could play any other character from the Walking Dead universe, which one would it be and why?
I mean, obviously I'd love to play Rick because I think that role is just amazing. What Andy Lincoln has done with that character is just, it's really inspiring, you know. I mean, Andy is British, as most of you guys know. He would not drop character at all. He was like you and you. Like, you could not tell this guy was British ever. Except for the one time he broke character was the second episode I was in. He punched me in the nose, and the last time he actually did hit my nose, and it hurt like hell. And once I dropped to the ground, he was like, "Oh mate, I'm so sorry. You all right?" And that's the only time I heard him break character the entire 6 years I worked with him. The only time. But he would show up the first guy on set. He'd be the last guy to leave, and even on days where he wasn't working, he would be there. Like, the guy was the nicest, most professional dude I've ever met in my life. So selfishly, I would say Rick, but I would also love to play Abraham because Abraham had the best lines. Like, he gets to say bitch nuts and mother dick and weird, crazy stuff like that. Like, I never got cool lines like that. It was always the nice diplomatic guy. And I just feel like he got the coolest lines. I would like to have some cool lines, yeah. So Abraham, probably, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, bud.
Hi.
Hello.
Seeing behind the scenes footage of past MCU projects, how much of Vormir is real?
Oh man, I hate to break it to you. This is gonna suck, but none of it. You know, we're walking around. Well, there was for the portion that I come down, where I'm floating, it's like a ramp. So they built a ramp for me so it would look like I'm floating into the scene. But otherwise, it looked kind of like this room. I mean, literally, it's like a soundstage like this. So all of the clothing and the face, it was all done after the fact in a computer. So it's kind of crazy. It's a weird way to shoot because you have to just imagine all of this is here. But I remember watching the movie when it first came out at the premiere, and I was like, holy shit, none of that was there. None of it. It was really wild. So the only times where they actually had stuff that they worked with was I think in some of Guardians of the Galaxy and some of those sets, they needed to have some physical stuff there. But for the most part, it's all CGI. It's really weird. If you get a chance to watch the behind the scenes, it's really cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Logan.
Hello, Ross.
Good to see you.
Yes. How did you felt when you were filming The Walking Dead?
How did I feel filming it?
When you were filming The Walking Dead?
Oh, just how did I feel in general, or?
Yes.
It was 8 years of my life, and I cannot believe it lasted as long as it did for me and for the entire show. The idea that show was on for 12 seasons or 12 years, that doesn't happen. We really have the fans to thank for watching as long as they did, and for continuing as long as they did, for us to be able to tell that many years of story, you know. I was a big fan of the show before I got on the show, so like going from sitting in my living room watching it to then being on the show was like the most surreal moment ever. And it was challenging, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it was some of the hottest filming, and you're covered in mosquitoes and ticks and these bugs that devour your legs, and you know, it takes several months to heal from all that. So like, you're just every time you come off of set, you're just covered in bug bites and welts, and you're covered in real and fake blood. You're doing your own stunts, you're doing a lot of like really intense work, but at the end of the day, you feel like you earned it. You know, like I talk to a lot of actors who do procedurals and like courtroom dramas, and they're, you know, shaved really close to their face, and they're wearing two-piece suits or three-piece suits, and they're like in an air-conditioned facility, and they feel oftentimes like they're not earning it, you know, because it's just they're learning their lines, they're doing their great performance, but it's not like they're getting sweaty, you know. When we're doing The Walking Dead, you feel it. Like at the end of the day, you got muscle aches, and you've got cuts and bruises, and you feel it. And I feel like even though it was a pain to shoot sometimes, and it was really difficult, I wouldn't take away a moment of it, because I learned so much professionally and personally from that show. Yeah. Thank you. Is that a Pop Funko? Which one did you get? Is that Aaron?
Is there a chance after this panel of you signing this Funko?
Oh yeah. I'll be at the table. Yeah.
Yeah?
That sounds great. Yeah.
I don't have an autograph session.
Well, let's talk later. Yeah.
It's okay?
It's okay. We'll talk to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Yeah. Cheers. Yeah. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Aaron.
Hello.
I have a few questions.
Okay.
First of all, I just... okay. There's gonna be a season 12 in Walking Dead, or just 2 more episodes in October and that's it? It's over?
It's gonna be 8 more episodes and then that's it. But there's gonna be spin-offs. There's gonna be the Rick and Michonne. There's gonna be Maggie and Negan spin-off, and then there's gonna be a Daryl spin-off as well. And apparently he's filming that in France right now. So if you guys want to be extras, go to France. You could be a zombie or something, you know? Yeah.
And there's gonna be a Walking Dead movie in the future?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Okay, thanks. And in the last episodes of Walking Dead, someone will die, someone important, like
Everyone dies, dude. Yeah. Every one of your favorite characters dies. Yeah. Daryl, Carol, Judith, me, Rosita, Eugene, Loki, he dies too. Everyone dies. It's really sad. It's like the saddest thing ever. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. No, but there are going to be some deaths, because it wouldn't be The Walking Dead if we didn't have a few deaths in there, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh.
Hi.
Hello.
First of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, better. I love you, and I love The Walking Dead. It's my favorite show ever.
Oh, thank you.
So as we know, we have a few spin-offs yet to come in 2023. I was wondering which one are you most excited to see?
Ooh, I'm excited to see the Rick one, because I want to know what he's been up to, you know, because obviously we know Andy left the show a few years ago for personal reasons, to be closer to his family. But it's going to be interesting to see where he's been all this time after getting,
At the Oscars when they play the music, you know.
Oh, okay. Am I supposed to beep? Should I sing? Should I dance? What am I doing?
Yes, please.
Am I beatboxing? What's happening? Is that from? Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, the Rick one. That's gonna be fun.
Yes. Thank you. And I wasn't here yesterday, so I don't know if you've done it already, but I was curious to see a Daryl impression, if you can do one.
My Daryl.
Yeah, we gotta go around here. We gotta go back. You understand? Yeah.
That was very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
What I want to say is not a question. What I want to say is that I appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you.
For your role in The Walking Dead, because I rewatched now, and I want to say, man, you are a great actor, and I love you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Have a nice day, and hope you like Romania.
I love Romania. Thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you. That's wow.
Last question.
Cool, huh?
Hello.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you could say Gabagool in the Gandolfini voice, please.
Gabagool. Hey.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
What
Thank
a
you,
great
Ross,
way to end the
Ross
panel.
Marquand. Thank
you guys for having me. I've never been to Romania. I've been I think I told you yesterday, but I played Dracula in college, and I did a ton of research on Vlad the Impaler, and it's been my dream to come here for like almost 20 years. So thank you guys for having me. It's been awesome, and I hope I can come back soon. Seriously. Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc.
That's great.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Mulțumesc.
Mulțumesc. Yeah, you got it right.
Mulțumesc. Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Thank you. Thank you all.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.